Hello everyone, this is Umbara Prime here, and we're going to be doing another video today. It is another tier list video, but I figured it's better than it's more low quality content. I guess you could say that. But I will say there will be more edited videos coming soon, especially in the Christmas time when I get more break, as I'll be off work by that point, and hopefully I'll be able to do a review of the new Doctor Who episode, the Christmas special with Ncuti Gatwa in the first place, in the Doctor. Well, his first appearance as the Doctor. So yeah, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be ranking the seasons, and we've got the tiers here. We've got amazing, great, good, decent, lukewarm, bad, and atrocious. This is every single season from season 1 back in 1953 all the way to series 13 in flux. So yeah, there may be a couple of controversial opinions, especially especially when we get to New Who, because yeah, let's just say my opinion on New Who has kind of dipped a little bit. But let's just say it's going to be quite an interesting video. So first off, I'm going to be starting off with season 1, and I'm going to be putting that in decent. It's a good start to the series, but I don't think it's as good as most people make it out to be. So, part 1 of An Unearthly Child is good. So is the Daleks, I love the Aztecs, and Marco Polo. The rest of it, I'm very, very mixed on. The second half of An Unearthly Child is crap. And Edge of Destruction, Sensorites is decent. Oh, and Peas and Mariners. And I'm not a big fan of The Reign of Terror. I just cannot get into it for some unexplained reason. But yeah, season 1, it's a good start, and I'm not going to say it's bad, but yeah, I can't say I'm its biggest fan. Season 2, I'm going to put this in good. I think it's much better than season 1, because you got the Time Meddler and the Romans, the Crusade, the Chase, which I really enjoy this story. It's great. Dark Invasion of Earth, while I do think it's overrated, I still think it is a good story, and the rest of it, I still think is mixed, although the lows aren't as bad as season 1. I would say the worst of the Web Planet, but I mean, if you're drunk or you're stoned, then you'll probably enjoy it more. I need to experience that firsthand. But yeah, it's got a better TARDIS team in season 1, because I definitely think it's got a much better TARDIS team in season 1, because as much as I love the first Doctor, Ian and Barbara, Susan is the weak link, but with Vicky in season 2, it definitely makes the TARDIS team so much better. Season 3, I think it also has to be on decent, because again, I do love season 3, but it has a bit of a mixed bag. It has War Machines, The Massacre, Daleks Master Plan, which are all brilliant stories. The Gunfighters is criminally underrated. Like, why the hell was this considered one of the worst Doctor Who stories ever? I think it's just so fun. Mission to the Unknown, I do count it as part of Daleks Master Plan, but by itself, it is a great introductory story. The rest of it, I'm mixed on. The Ark is decent, like, it's just kind of mediocre, same with Galaxy 4, and the Myth Makers and the Savages, I'm not really that big of a fan. And about the Celestial Toymaker, I haven't actually seen it, but when the animation comes out, I'll definitely see it, and hopefully I'll be able to get into that pretty well. Season 4, let's put that in good. Again, season 4, it is an improvement. Granted, it does have the Underwater Menace and the Smugglers, which are fucking atrocious. But every other story, I think, ranges from good, from like Macro Terror and Faceless Ones, and even if I think Evil of the Daleks is a bit overrated, I still enjoy that story. And it has the absolute peaks that are Power of the Daleks, the Moon, and the Moon Base, which is just brilliant. And then the 10th Planet and the Highlanders, I think are really great stories. And Highlanders needs more attention. It's basically the Myth Makers except so much better. And yeah, Troughton, yeah, he goes through a bit of a funny period throughout the first 3 stories, but he gets into it pretty fast, which is better than what most Doctors can do. Season 5, amazing. I mean, it's by far and away the best 60 season. Apart from Abominable Snowman, every story here ranges from good to great. Because you've got Enemy of the World, Tomb of the Cybermen, Web of Fear, and Furious in the Deep, which are some of the best Doctor Who ever made. And then you've got Will in Space, which is ridiculously underrated. If it was animated or found, people would like this more. And the Ice Warriors, yeah, it has pacing issues, but I still think it is a good story. So, yeah, that's what I'll say for that. Season 6, I'll put this in good. I mean, granted, it does good. It has the war games, it has the invasion of the Mind Realm and the Seeds of Death, which I love the pieces. They're all great stories. But then it also has the Dominators, which, yeah, it can be a bit memey, but other than that, it is 5 episodes of the most boring shit ever. And then the Protons and the Space Pirates are just, oh, they're terrible. Some of the worst Doctor Who ever made. So it is kind of a weird counterbalance between, yeah, it's just, if it had more good stories like season 5, it would definitely be going great. But yeah, season 7, I mean, obviously it has to be an amazing. I mean, come on. Season 7, easily the best Doctor Who season ever made. Like, even if you're not big on Classic Who, Season 7 always manages to get beloved from basically everyone. Every single story here is brilliant. It's quality over quantity, it's got a great TARDIS dynamic, it's got really great themes. Like, every story is different. That's what I love. Every story is completely different. You've got the standard alien invasion with Spearhead from space, a really interesting political dynamic with Doctor Who and the Silurians, a nice subversion with Ambassadors of Death, and Inferno, which is not only my favourite Doctor Who story of all time, but also the first Doctor Who story to explore multiple, like an alternate universe, which, when used properly, can be utilised. It's utilised perfectly there, and it's just Jon Pertwee, like, he just instantly sells you from the word go. Season 8. It's going to be a bit controversial. I'm not that big on Season 8 at all. I'll put it in decent. I mean, it does have the Mind of Evil and Terror of the Autons, which are both great stories. But everything else, I mean, the Demons, I think, is overrated, but I mean, it's still a decent story, but I think it just has pacing issues. And the Pools of Axos and Colony in Space, they're not bad, but I just don't like them for some reason. It's just one of the weird Doctor Who. I have this a lot, where there's Doctor Who seasons stories that I just don't like, even if they're not objectively bad, and we'll get to that later. Because I don't think it's a single objectively bad Jon Pertwee story, but yeah. Season 9, I'm going to put this in lukewarm. Season 9 is not that good. In fact, it's probably the weakest Classic Who season until we get to the 80s. Because the only story I think is really good is The Curse of Peladon. And then everything else after that is just extremely mediocre. Like, the Sea Devils is just kind of like a meh version of the Silurians. And then they're the Daleks, and the mutants are not good. And I haven't seen the Time Monster, but I don't think Time Monster's going to improve the series, especially since people don't like that one for some reason. Yeah. I'm just not that big on... Yeah, I'm just really not that big on it. It's just kind of... Yeah. Season 10, I'm putting this in amazing. I love Season 10. I just love it. I mean, yeah, it does... I mean, Planet of the Daleks is the weakest story, but every story is just so good. The Three Doctors is probably the second best multi-Doctor story. It's a lot of fun. Frontier in Space is this brilliant space thriller. The fact that people think it's boring is just not great at all, because it's just got so much. It's got a great sense of adventure that I wish people would appreciate more. Carnival Monsters is fun, and we also got The Green Death, which is a really great piece of character drama, and it also helps tie into the season 11. Which, speaking of season 11, where to put it? I think I'll put it in good, because it does have Time Warrior and Invasion of the Dinosaurs, which I do love, and Death of the Daleks is a great load of fun as well, but I'm not big on Monster of Peladon, and Planet of the Spiders I haven't seen, but I've heard it's one of the weaker Pertwees, even though it is his regeneration. So yeah, I don't know if it is quite an underappreciated season, and I think people should definitely give it another chance. But yeah, I think it just kind of needs a bit more appreciation. And then season 12, first Tom Baker season. He is my favourite Doctor, but I don't think season 12 is as good as it is made out to be. Because, yes, it does have the Ark in Space and Genesis of the Daleks, which are both brilliant, especially Genesis. But Robot is just kind of average. And then the Sontaran of Rebellion, the Revenge of the Cybermen, I don't like that much. So yeah, it has two fantastic stories, but it's kind of like a weird counterbalance of two fantastic stories and three not so good stories. Season 13, I'm gonna put this in. It'll be the first rate because it'll be the first rate because it has the Seeds of Doom, one of my favorite stories ever, and then Pyramids of Mars and Terror of the Zygons I also love. And I think they're enough to get it into the great category because the rest of it is actually not. I'm not big on. Brain and Morbius, I know it's meant to be good. It's like I said, I can't get into it. It's not objectively bad. I just can't get into it. And then Planet of Evil and Android Invasion are also pretty weak. They're not bad, but they're just weaker. But I don't think that's going to help hold it back from just being a great. It is a great season, and I do think what also helps carry it is Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen. They have wonderful chemistry. Oh, and season 14, I think it's better than season 13 every shape or form. Only has one mediocre story, and that's the Mastermind Drabula. The rest of it ranges from good, such as Face of Evil and Hand of Fear, to just incredible. It's got my favourite Tom Baker story in The Deadly Assassin. It's got Robots of Death and Talons of Wen-Chiang, which are also brilliant. Introduces Leela, one of my favourite companions, and I just think Tom is really... I think he's really into the Doctor at this point. I think it's really great. It's just, yeah, I will always come back to season 14 no matter what I do. And season 15... Sorry, that's the wrong one. Really underrated. I'm going to put this in great. I know it might be a bit controversial, because yes, Invasion of Time and Underworld are appallingly bad. But I think the good definitely outweighs the bad, because Sunmaker's Image of the Fendel, super, super underrated. Invisible Enemy, I fucking love. Like, it's just such a cool idea for a story, and then Horrifying Rock, really great. And I think one thing that does definitely carry is that's one of my favourite TARDIS dynamics with Leela and the Fourth Doctor, and if you watched my last video, you would know how much I love those two together. Season 16, yeah, another season I'm going to put in amazing. Another really underrated season. Yeah, Power of Kroll and Armageddon Factor aren't great, but Ribos Operation, Pirate Planet, Stones of Blood, Andros Tar, 4 back-to-back classics. It's the first story to do a story arc, and I think the story arc, although it ends kind of anticlimactically, I think is really well done because it doesn't overshadow the story like with most Yu-Gi-Oh arcs. It's just kind of there. It's like noticeable, but it's not. It doesn't completely overshadow the story. Season 17. I'll put it in decent because City of Death is great. I think it's great, and so is Shada, but the rest of it, I mean, Nightmare of Eden, I think is kind of average, and Destiny of the Daleks is terrible. But yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Creature from the Pit, but I don't think it's gonna really bring the series. It's like with season 9, I don't think, and season 3 with the stories I haven't seen, I don't think they're gonna bring up the episode that much. I had to go get some water because my throat was getting really dry because I'm not used to talking this much. Anyway, season 18. I think it's the first bad season of Doctor Who. I don't like season 18. I don't like it at all. I mean, State of Decay and The People of Traken are good, but the rest of it is either mediocre or not that great. I don't like Meglos or The Life Pleasure Hive. They're two of the worst Doctor Who stories ever made. And yes, I haven't seen Full Circle or Lobopolis, but I mean, I don't know if they're going to bring it up. I mean, they could, they very well could, but I don't know, I just don't like it. I just don't like how hard sciencey it is, and it's just not really that entertaining. Anyway, season 19. Ooh. I'm pretty lukewarm on this because I'm very lukewarm on the Davison era, not with that baby on it. Does have Earthshock, does have Pinder, 2 great stories. The rest of it, not a fan of Capture of Alba, Black Orchid, and especially Fall to Doomsday and Time Flight. They're just so dull and uninteresting. Maybe the Visitation could drag it up to decent, but not too sure. Also, the TARDIS team isn't that great. It's very plotted. There's not enough time, unlike with the Hartnell era where they had time. But yeah. Season 20. Definite improvement. I'll give it a I'll put it in decent because I do love Morgan Undead, which is super underrated, as well as Enlightenment, which is to me, I think probably Davis. Yeah, it's Davison's second best story after Caves, but I can't overlook the fact that it has fucking Art of Infinity, Terminus, and the King's Demons, which are just appallingly bad. They are terrible stories. I mean, I guess I could include the Five Doctors as well, but that's not. I mean, that isn't season 20, but I do kind of pretend it is because, yeah, it's kind of like what was in Series 4 and Series 7. But yeah. Season 21, I'm also going to put in decent. It has Caves, which I love, and it does also have Resurrection of the Daleks, which is a great story, but I think the rest of it is kind of mediocre. I mean, part of me wants to put it in Luke 1, but I think no, because of Caves, it has to be in decent. Awakening, Twin Dilemma, Warriors of the Deep, fucking terrible stories. They're just really, really bad. Not a good sign. Season 22. I think, like with Series 16, although not as the same, apart from Time Lapse, it is very consistently good. Like, every story here is good except for Time Lapse. Granted, none of them are like 10 out of 10s, but it's just, yeah, like I said, solely consistently good stories, and I think it definitely needs more attention, because, yeah, it was in an awkward phase in Doctor Who's history, but apart from that, they actually wrote some really good stories. Like, Revelation, Two Doctors, and Vengeance of Varos are brilliant, and Mark of the Running and Attack of the Cybermen are underrated. It's just a shame that Time Lapse is also a part of this season. Season 23. I think I'm also going to have to put this in lukewarm. I'm not big on Season 23. The only story I really like is Mark of the War. The rest of it is either mediocre or terrible, like with Terror of the Verboids. Because with Terror of the Verboids, it's literally a murder mystery, but the murderer has 2 lines and is barely in the story, so when it's revealed, it's like, well, who the hell is this? So it's kind of like, I don't really know how to describe it. It's just odd, really, to say the least. Season 24. Atrocious. This is probably, to me, the worst Doctor Who season, because every other Doctor Who series at least has one either good or mediocre episode, just like bring it above this, which to me has no good episodes. I mean, yeah, you could have ironic fun with Paradise Towers and Delta and the Bannerman, but it's just a painfully bad story. It is literally, to describe it best, pantomime Doctor Who. It's just like, it's like the John Nathan Turner took 4 shots of meth and then wrote the entire season. Don't really know how to say that. Season 25, could I put it in good or decent? I'll put it in good. It does have Remembrance. I love that story to pieces. We've also got Happiness, Patrol, Embracer, and Galaxy. Also 2 really good stories. I mean, Silver Nemesis is crap, but we can just overlook that. I think Remembrance is enough to bring it above that. So yeah, well, and Season 26, again, it's fucking brilliant. It's a great Ghostlight's a weak story. Battlefield is fun, and then Curse of Emmerich and Survival are very, very good stories. And I think another thing that helps is the TARDIS dynamics at its best. Ace has got a really good character arc, and Seven's really showing his dark side here. And yeah, it is a shame it got cancelled after this, especially since Season 26 was definitely where the show was reaching a high point after quite a turbulent run. Alright, now we're on to New Who. Series 1, I think, has to go in amazing. I love Series 1 to bits, because you got... The only real not good story is the Long Game, and even then, it's just mediocre. The rest of it is all great, like, especially Dalek, the finale and Empty Child Doctor Dances, I love those stories. And I think there's some underrated stories, like, I think End of the World and Unquiet Dead are really underappreciated. And Boomtown. That's a really great piece of character drama. And you've also got Aliens of London, which I think is quite fun, even if it is objectively shit. It's so, like, the Slovene are fucking hilarious, and I love it. Series 2, unfortunately, is a bit more inconsistent. I'm probably going to have to do some lukewarm, and that's probably down to, yeah, it does have School Reunion, Girl in the Fireplace, a Sidemen two-parter, and Impossible Planet Satan Pit, but my main issue with it is there's stories like Idiot Flanton, Love and Monsters, and Fear Her. And another thing which I'm really going to go on about is Ten and Rose. They are just so unbelievably irritating and just smug and just it's like Twilight. It's like you can't have fun with it because it actually annoys you, unlike with Twilight, which is actually fucking funny. I'll probably make an actual video on Ten and Rose because I need to properly explain why I despise this TARDIS team so much. Series 3. Good improvement. I'm split between putting it between decent and good, but I'll probably put it in. You know what? I'll be nice to it. I'll put it in. It does have not a great dynamic with Doctor and Martha. Well, half decent dynamic with Doctor and Martha, but it also has you know what? Nah, I'm putting it in for good. I can't put it in decent because I love Martha as a character, and finish with the 10th Doctor and Martha's dynamic. It would have been fine if it was just contained to the first half of the series and then got resolved in like an episode like the Lazarus Experiment. But when it gets dragged on to the point where in Utopia they're still going on about it, it's kind of irritating. But yeah, I think there's stories that are great. I think the first half, I mean, yeah, Daleks in Manhattan is absolutely atrocious and one of the worst modern Who stories. But it does have Human Nature, Family of Blood, Blink, and the Series 3 finale is probably the Russell's best. Actually, no, part Babel's Blood Wave is the second best. Granted, yes, Dr. Space Jesus is kind of a meme, but I do find it quite funny. And there is an episode which I would name the Shakespeare Code, actually. I like it, even though it has aged like fucking milk because of who wrote it and the references they are made. But yeah, it's just a consistently good series. I mean, yeah, the Lazarus is, but I find it fucking hilarious because the Lazarus monster is quite funny. Series 4, I'm very torn between putting it in great and amazing because I am including the specials, and the specials do have Planet of the Dead, End of Time, Next Doctor, and Voyage of the Damned, but fuck it, I'm putting it in amazing. I mean, come on, it has Midnight Term Left and Wars of Mars. Both are 3 10 out of 10 stories, are fucking brilliant. Finale's a bit mid, well, it's good, but it has a lot of issues. And I love the series opener. It's probably like I think it's probably my favourite modern Who opener. Like, I love it that much. Like, Partners in Crime's brilliant. Tennant and Donna, I am on the record by saying Donna is slightly overrated as a character, but I think her dynamic with Tennant is just probably the best he's had. And yeah, it is a really great. It's just a great series to watch. It's very objectively good. That's what I can say about it. Series 5. You know, I'll put it in good as well. I'll put it in good. I love Series 5. It's a series that I can remember. It's the series I can remember watching the most. It's probably the one I have the most nostalgia for. I love 11th Hour is great, even if my opinion on it has gone down a bit. I love The Angel two-parter, Amy's Choice, and Vincent and the Doctor, even if I do think it's a bit overrated, it's still a great story. And there's also, yeah, it's got Vampires of Venice, which is good, but yeah, I mean, I could arguably put it in decent because it does have Beast Below and Victory Below, so I'm not big on. I think the finale's a bit meh, but I think the story arc's okay. It's definitely got a bad resolution, but I think compared to the other story arcs, it's actually quite decently well written. Yeah, I'll put it, and I think the 11th Doctor is at his best characterized, even if his performance isn't as good as it is in Series 6 7. Because what I will say, Matt Smith's performance gets better and better throughout every season, but the writing gets worse, so it's like this weird power dynamic, but yeah. Series 6. I'm gonna have to put this in bad. I don't like Series 6. I don't like it at all. I just don't like it at all. Because, yeah, it does have, what do you call it? It does have the Doctor's wife, even if it's overrated, it's still good, and the girls who wait in the God Complex, which are brilliant. But the main issue with Series 6 is the fucking story arc. Not only does it make no sense, it's revolved in such a shit way, and it overshadows the rest of the story and just makes episodes like the opening two-parter just so painful to rewatch, because it's like, it's a good story, and then you realise in hindsight, wait, hang on, story arc's crap. And there's a bad resolution. For when you see the Doctor get shot, it's like, well, that doesn't mean anything. It's meant to be a fixed point in time. Yeah, he's a robot. And you've also got crap like Curse of the Black Spot and the Rebel Flesh, Almost People, and fucking Let's Kill Hitler, Closing Time, and Wedding of Rose Son. And yeah, it's terrible. It's not a good series. It's really fucking bad. And even worse, we got Series 7. What is this? It is, like, yeah, there are 4 stories I like, but none of them are great. Like, I mean, Dinosaurs in a Spaceship and The Power of Three, guilty pleasure stories, and I do like Townfall Mercy and Cold War. But then you got stuff, it's literally white noise. This is literally white noise, the series, because the rest of the episodes are either bad or just mediocre, and I feel nothing towards them. You got stuff like Doctor the Winner of the Wardrobe, Asylum of the Daleks, Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, The Crimson Horror, Nightmare on Silver, Time of the Doctor. Like, oh my god, these are bad stories, and it's so bad. It's just, I love Doctor That is worst here, even if his performance is great. I feel like he's literally a caricature of himself. Amy and Rory take way too long to leave. At this point, I was just begging for them to go. And Clara, she's not a character, she's a plot device. That's all I gotta say. Series 8. I'll put this in. You know what? Fuck it. Bad. I don't think it's that good either. Because with Clara, it's the opposite problem. She now takes over way too much of the episode, especially with her and Danny Pink, who Samuel Anderson is a bad actor. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. He's a fucking shit actor. They have no chemistry, taking on way too long. Granted, there are some stories from Series 8 that I do like Into the Daleks, Robots of Sherwood, Mummy on the Orient Express, even if I think it's a little overrated, and Flatline, which is great. And Capaldi's really well characterized. He's got, like, I don't like that I'm a good man stuff, but I like the darker direction they were taking it. But you got stories like Listen, which is the most pretentious thing I've ever fucking heard. Time Heist, which is such a nothing episode. Kill the Moon. I don't even want to get started on Kill the Moon, because I will literally I could make an entire rant about how much I hate Kill the Moon. And then In the Forest of the Night and the finale are terrible. So yeah. Series 9. Oh boy, we're getting even worse. Atrocious. It has Face the Raven, which is fantastic, and you got Heaven Sent, my favourite episode of New Who. But that's not enough. And Under the Day Before Flood, that's decent. But that's not enough. Every other episode is bad. Magician's Apprentice, Last Christmas, and fucking Ashilda 2-parter, which is not a 2-parter. The Zybon 2-parter, Sleep No More, Hell fucking Bent. This is just a terrible series. Capaldi's so bad in this. You've got him basically being Dr. Dishbo like a midlife crisis. It's so cringy. It's not fucking funny or fun to watch. He's just so bad in this. And then you got Clara, who you think, oh, she has a decent arc, she's pretending to be the Doctor. But no, and you think, oh, it's going to go quite well, because Face Ring, she pays the consequences for it. And then Hellbent, she gets resurrected, gets fucking immortality, or invincible, gets her own fucking TARDIS, and, oh, well, but she has to lose the memories of the Doctor and inevitably die. She doesn't have to die for another 1,000,000 years! So it's like, you just completely spat all over her arc, and also, you bring Gallifrey back, you don't do anything with it. Like, Day of the Doctor, like, remember, there's a really great scene in Death in Heaven where the Doctor gets tricked by missing to think Gallifrey's there, and he's really torn up about it. He beats the TARDIS up. hell-bent. He doesn't care. He just brings Clara back and then shoots the general in cold blood. It's like, yeah, also the Doctor basically murders someone, and people are like, oh, but it's showing how far he does for Clara. No. Hell-bent. The whole point of Heaven Sent is that he's getting over his grief for Clara. That's what the episode is, a metaphor for grief. He gets over it. So it's like, he basically just regresses. But yeah, Series 9, fucking terrible. I don't care if Heaven Sent is the best episode in New Who. Staying atrocious, it's bad. Series 10, fortunately, much more positive. It's good. I think it's a good series. I do prefer it to Series 5 and 3, but I don't think it's enough to get into great. Capaldi, Bill, Nardole, one of the most underrated TARDIS teams. It does have bad stories, like I think Twice Upon a Time is crap, especially because what it does to the first Doctor. And I don't like Lie of the Land or Return of Dr. Mysterio. But it's very consistently good. You've got the first 4 episodes which are consistently good. And then Oxygen, I love. And then you got the finale, which is great, even if the second part does drag it down a lot. And also Extremist, an episode I think is really underappreciated and deserves more love. So yeah, Series 10 was definitely the point in Doctor Who where I was like, okay, I can get back on board with this show. I also have probably the most nostalgia for it. I remember I used to spend every night with my friends, after every episode, theorizing on stuff. And yeah, Series 10 is a really special place in my heart, and what solidified Capaldi is one of my favourite Doctors. Series 11's trash, only good episode of Winged Who Fell to Earth. Jodie Whittaker is fucking annoying. Series 12 is slightly better because it does have Haunting, which I think is well written than Winged Who Fell to Earth, but you got fucking Timeless Children and really bad episodes. And then Flops. Not a single good episode. It's arguably the second worst Doctor Who series, just ahead of Series 24. You've got fucking Legend of the Sea Devils, you've got Phasmin, which is basically Ten and Rose is at worst because they have no chemistry. I don't really want to talk about the Chibnall era. It's like I had a really good rant with Series 9 because it was at least entertaining to talk about. I don't even want to rant about the Chibnall era because everyone's ragged on about it, and I don't have anything else more interesting to say. So yeah, just kind of, yeah, I just don't have anything else interesting to say about the Chibnall era. Anyway, that's my list. Feel free to scream at me if I'm wrong. I don't care. It is an objective opinion. Well, not, okay, fine, subjective, not objective. That's kind of mean. But yeah, I love the show. I'm hoping that Series 14, okay, fine, if we were to include the specials, I think I put in decent because Star Beast is decent, and so is. But I love Blue Wild Yonder, and I haven't seen the Giggle, which is, as I'm recording this, airing in about an hour. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully next thing I do will hopefully be a lot better edited, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.